what is it that the brain feels the most? Like, is there something that the brain feels faster? That, when we feel like we've had a hard day or a long day,
Mm.
is it an emotional drain? Is it an energy drain that gets us?
Yeah, it's probably a little bit of both. It's probably what it is they're interacting, right? So when I have less energy, my brain also has less resources to put towards managing my emotions. That's why it's very common when we're overtired or we've had a busy day that we're more cranky, we're more irritable, we're more quick to come to tears or to cry as well, because our brain prioritizes resources, and it's really going to prioritize your basic needs first, which is keeping you breathing, keeping you walking, keeping you upright and talking, right? Less resources are going to be left over for things like keeping your emotions in check, for staying focused on what you need to do, for remembering what you did yesterday. All of those are going to be lower priority activities for your brain. So as our brains start to run out of resources towards the end of the day, we're going to be more fatigued. There's going to be that emotional drain with it. And then all of that just interacts together to increase that fatigue.
While you were talking, I was just thinking, and I don't know if you would, like, if this is studied or something. It was just a thought that came. Like, when we think about our brain fatigue, is it, like our brain has run out of ATP in that context, like the energy, or has it been just overwhelmed in the form of its receptors? Like, for example, like when we have caffeine and our adenosine receptors have gone for a toss, right? What would this actual fatigue be? Would any research have been done on this aspect?
Yeah, fatigue is a bit hard to study. That's a great question because I think there are so many components to it. You're right. There
Mhm.
is a basic biological level of fatigue, but there is also that emotional, cognitive fatigue too. And there is physical fatigue for our
Correct.
bodies because sometimes we can be, you know, our brains are exhausted, but our bodies are okay, or the opposite, right? I run a marathon and my body's exhausted. I have a day with a ton of meetings, my brain is exhausted. And sometimes it's both. At the basic cell level, yes, we can kind of fatigue those cells. For example, if you've ever noticed that you're trying to think of someone's name, maybe the name of like a famous person or a movie actor, and you're like, you can't think of it, you can't think of it. And then 2 hours later, you're driving home, and out of nowhere, that name comes to you,
Yes.
right? You find it again. It's because what happens is when we're trying too hard to think about specific items, like a name like that, there is this process of competitive inhibition of those neurons. So basically, they are working too hard. They get all the surrounding neurons around that information you're trying to pull out, get burnt out, and they need some time to recharge. So, yes, at a very basic level, there is some of that overwork happening, but also at a broader level, a whole brain level, there is a fatigue that happens when we've made too many complex decisions and our brains are burnt out, or we've had a very emotional or trying day. That is going to burn out the whole brain as well.